Welcome to Morning Brew with your girl Germaine. And guess what day it is today? It's Mixed Blend Wednesday. Yes, so mixed blend is where we mix it all up. We bring in special guests that are experts in their area. And so today we do have a special guest in studio, someone that I've known for years. We've worked together on many occasions. And guess what? He is responsible also for helping to bring this vision of mixed blend and morning brew to life. So let me just tell you a little bit about our guests before we get in. But before we get into that, if you are chiming in, I have my family over on Instagram. Hey, Jessie Moss 92775. Good morning, sister. And so if you are chiming in, please chime in. I'm brewing my coffee right now. So I would love to know what you're drinking. Okay. And also, so you can chime in. You may have some questions for our guests. And but let me tell you a little bit about him before we get started. All right, so Charles E. Williams Jr. is a two-time Emmy Award-winning television producer and editor that founded WEG Media Group and the creative force behind the Urban Byte Network. This is brought to you by the Urban Byte Network. Morning Brew. Thank you, Charles. With decades of experiences telling stories that shape culture, Charles has now turned his focus to equipping the next generation through mentorship and creative platforms. Through his mentorship initiative in Lifestyle Black Boy Genius BBG7, Charles is redefining what it means for young men to see themselves as leaders, creators, and visionaries. Programs like Journey to Manhood and Porch Stories connect wisdom with creativity, giving young men both the tools and the voice to boldly ask, what do I want to be? Or who do I want to be? His mission is clear: to give wings for the next generation to fly, rooted in identity, purpose, and legacy. This conversation explores how media, mentorship, and storytelling intersects, and how one man's vision is creating space for young Black men to lead with confidence and clarity. Well, you know what? Let me stop talking and let me just bring our special guest on.
Hey, good morning, Germaine. Thank you for having me on Morning Brew with Germaine. I'm so happy to be here today. Anytime I get a chance to talk about mentorship and changing the lives of the next generation, because without them, we have no future. So I'm happy to be here. And I saw you had a special, unique thing going on now. I saw
What's
buy me a cup of coffee. So I
Yeah,
bought you a cup of coffee, and I'm
thank
going to be drinking my
you.
coffee all day.
I'm
So
going to pull that up so people can see what you're talking
oh,
about.
I think it's a wonderful way of connecting with Morning Brew. Most people drink coffee, so I think it's a good opportunity for folks to chime in and support the cause that you're doing.
Oh my gosh. Charles, thank you so much. You know what? As you can hear, my coffee's brewing right now. My hazelnut. I am drinking hazelnut today. Good morning, Leslie, chiming in on YouTube. So, Charles, thank you so much for supporting me. Well,
Always.
it's not just me, it's this movement. And I have to say, you are responsible for allowing my vision to come forward, with people even having the opportunity to pour back into the vision and supporting. So, as you can see, thank you, Charles. He bought me a cup of coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/ morning brew with Germaine. It's a way that you can also share to be able to help contribute to the programming in the show that we can continue furthering on, giving inspiration daily to those insight, clarity, vision, all that good stuff. But thank you so much. Now let
You're
me pull
welcome.
this down because we got a lot to talk about and a little
Well,
time to talk about it
while you're
in.
pulling that down, I'm going to say this. I live by a lot of philosophies, right, that I've developed
Yes.
over the years. And one of
Yes.
those philosophies that I definitely live by is every life touches another life. So when we learn something, we teach others where we can grow, because the African proverb is about, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. So I believe in bridging people together, bringing everybody together to make sure one's vision comes to life.
Charles, before we get into this, you see me moving away, it's because I'm making my coffee because I need that shot
Hey,
of
let's
caffeine in the
be
morning.
casual as we possibly can.
But Charles, you know what? Before we really get into, um, just your vision behind now getting into mentorship and getting into um, just working with our young men, I want to share my story and I want to give you your flowers. We have worked together for years, and I tell you, you have been a mentor to me. I mean, really allowing me to grow in the area of media, teaching me the ins and the outs of how to be able to put things together, to produce projects, to be able to even do what I'm doing today. I give um I give you the credit. I honestly do, because without your guidance, without your leadership, without your mentorship, I don't know if I would be sitting here today doing a show 5 days a week without what you have really instilled in me. So it's been a long journey. I mean, I'm going to be honest, he is a dear friend. He is close, he's family, and he's been a strong mentor for me. I can ask anything, and I've seen him grow over the years. I've seen how much he gives of himself to make people's visions a reality. And I'm just glad that he is here joining me for coffee today. So
Well,
thank
I appreciate
you.
that so much. But I can tell you this. I come from a family of people who are givers, who are natural givers. Sometimes they will give the shirt off their back and then they realize they don't have a shirt. But long time ago, when I was in college, I had a professor who was teaching me the media business, and she helped me get my first job in television. She was one of the
Mhm.
first Black anchors in the area where I grew up. And I asked her, well, you've done all this for me. How do I pay you back? What can I do? Can I buy something? Can I
Mm,
give you something? She said, you can give me nothing. But when you grow and you have an opportunity to help someone else in this business, you reach out a hand and you show them what you know. And for the last 40 years, that's what I've done.
wow. I tell you, it's Charles, you deserve everything that God has for you. I'm telling you. And the thing is, a lot of times you give so much of yourself that people don't give in return. And sometimes you just have to ask yourself, am I supposed to be doing this? Because people just aren't, I don't know. You got a lot of takers in the world and
We
not
do.
enough givers. Let's say that.
And
But
sometimes
listen,
I do ask God that when I'm praying or talking to God, I'll say, God, I'm trying to do these things to be helpful. I'm trying to do these things to give back. And sometimes it feels uncomfortable because you don't always get back what you need. But this is
absolutely.
what I truly believe. If you take stories from the Bible, right?
Hmm.
There's all, and I call it ram in the bush. There's all right before and I'm drawing a blank on the name. But anyway, right before he was to sacrifice his son, God pulled back the knife and said, it's about obedience, it's about staying fast, it's about
Hmm.
sacrifice. So, what I always realize, sometimes when you're at your darkest moment, when the clouds are gathered around, the clouds are dark, and people are saying, oh, I don't know him, I don't know him, I don't support him. God
Hmm.
will always send that one person or the group of people, and I call it those rams in the bushes, that comes
Absolutely.
along and go, I got you, out of nowhere. It just happened this weekend for me because I was having kind of a
Mm,
difficult week
yeah.
with some things going on. And then one person walked up and said, hey, your story porch series touched me. I have 3 or 4 people in their 70s who want to come onto your platform and talk about their stories. And these people are 70, 80. I have one person who's 103 that I just finished an interview with that should be airing soon. So for me, the media business has never been about, hey, rah, rah, look at me. It's always about, how do I use what I have to empower others? How do I disseminate information to other people? And that's what I've done this whole career for, because I had great mentors, Diana Fowler, Ed Shannon, Carol Bean, on and on. I had people, and mentorship is so important because if you need somebody to kind of take your hand and have you fly with them, because I call it flying on somebody else's wings until your wings are strong enough to carry you, and then you carry someone else, and it's like each one teach one, each one grow and help each other grow. So that's what I've always done with my life, my career, and everything. And yeah, sometimes it gets difficult, but
It
I
does.
heard somebody say a while back is that if you pray for patience, God is not going to give you patience, he's going to give you an opportunity to have patience.
Absolutely. So watch what you pray for, because it's not going to show up like you expect it to, but it'll be the very thing you need to do, right?
Absolutely.
Well,
So that's
let's
where
get
my
into
mentorship came from.
yeah. Well, let's get into this, because I know you, and you referenced it a few times even here. You talk about who gave you your wings to fly, and I know you just referenced that. So I want to just see how that incorporates in your mentorship program with your Black Boy Genius movement. Right now, you have this movement, um, Black Boy Genius, or G7, and there's a whole merchandising line that goes with that, which I absolutely love, the empowerment of Black Boy Genius. But let's share some of the inspiration, how that even came to you.
Well, it's so interesting. Um, I had no idea that I was going to do this 3 years ago. I woke up one Sunday morning, and the voice in my head, which I choose to call God, said, I need you to start this movement called Black Boy Genius. And I said, what? I don't do clothing lines. I don't do that. I'm part of other mentoring programs. And the voice came to me and kept saying to me, I need you to do this. I need you to call it Black Boy Genius, because I want our young men to not only use their physical strength, because we know a lot of us dominate the sports, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, or whatever the case might be. But we don't see enough of our young men using their brain, how to think about something, how to create something. And we come from a long line of creators in our history. But we just don't see enough of that, because you have to see something in order to become something. So you need people mentoring the next generation. Sometimes people just need a pat on the back. But I woke up that morning and I said, and I ignored it. I'm not doing that. Then it woke up again. And then I went to a couple of friends of mine and I said, look, I got this message that I'm supposed to start this thing called Black Boy Genius to empower our Black and brown boys. And a couple of my friends, we're not going to, don't use the word boy. That was a whole negative word that we were used back in the day. And I ignored it. So I decided to call I decided to call it Be Genius. About 6 months later, woke up again. That voice said, what did I tell you to do? Not Be Genius, not Black Boy. I mean, not Be Genius, told you to do Black Boy Genius. And then I ignored it again. About 6 months later, I saw something on television, almost like it was talking directly to me
Mm.
from the television screen. I hopped up out of bed, created the design, created the logo, ordered the shirts, created the line. The first season that we put out Black Boy Genius, we sold out. A
Wow.
company came along and bought all the shirts, all the merchandise, and gave them away to young men out of Houston. And
Wow.
that's what God will do when you be obedient to the call. And sometimes you have to be obedient to the call when you're the only person standing on that ledge. You
Absolutely.
have to be obedient, because when you're obedient, other people will join in because they will become aligned with you. And most of the time you have to take the first step. Like they tell you in church, come up, take that first step and grab my hand and God will do the rest. I think
Yeah.
there's truisms to that, as I say. That's not quite a word, but that's what I like to say, truism. When you take that first step, two things will happen. God will be there for you, and then the test will come. Things will be thrown in your way where you cannot do it. Oh my God, this is so difficult. Because if things were easy, everybody would do it. So you expect challenges, expect hardship, expect that, because there is no testimony without a test.
That's
You
right.
have to be able to tell the story of how you got somewhere. And when I'm talking to young people, I tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't just say, hey, I did this and this is great, this is great. I tell them, hey, these are the pitfalls, these are the mistakes I made. And you're going to make, excuse me, mistakes along the way. So I want them to know the whole picture, that it's hard work and it's about accomplishing things.
You know, you have students, or you have young men that you have mentored over the course of time that you've been in this media space. And right now, to look at where they have landed in their own personal careers, how does that make you feel? And I mean, to see those that you have been a part of their life's journey.
Oh, it makes me feel wonderful, great, because I felt that God gave me the ability to touch somebody's life. And see, this is the thing that we have to realize. Sometimes we're not even aware of what we're doing, who we're teaching, or somebody who's watching us. I was probably 22 when I graduated from Prairie View A&M University down in Texas. And I went to Jack Yates High School, not as a teacher, but a friend of mine was teaching this class. And she asked me to come because she wasn't quite familiar with the gear, the control room, and stuff like that. So I was teaching in that class, showing the students. And unbeknownst to me, there was a kind of a loudmouth person who spoke it was very opinionated. And years later, probably 10 years later, after he had graduated from Jack Yates High School, went on to college, started his career in the media business. And this guy tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You don't remember me, do you?" I said, "No, I don't. I'm the loudmouth kid in the class. I'm Roland Martin." And now, of course, we know Roland Martin as this person who's very opinionated, very knowledgeable, knows what he's talking about, and is trying to change society and will not back down on any level. People ask
Not
me
at
all the
all.
time, was he like that in high school? I said he was exactly like that. His parents raised a young man who was opinionated, who had thoughts, and not just somebody who spoke, but somebody who educated themselves on the facts. And that's what I admired about him. And that's what I admire about him today. And we can call each other friends to this day.
Wow. Well, I just want to just acknowledge some people that are chiming in the community. My friend Valerie Wright. Hi, Valerie. Welcome to Morning Brew. Good to see you. And we have Harmon Entertainment Group. Welcome. Good to always have you chime in on the community. But we do have a question, Charles. Do you have a few minutes?
Yes.
From Lonnie Jones. Lonnie says, is it important to tell all your truths when mentoring young boys?
Yes. I think it needs to be told appropriately. You wouldn't tell an 8-year-old the same thing you would tell an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, 25-year-old. So you need to kind of gauge it based on the appropriate age, because this is the thing. I do some stuff in Harlem at Canaan Baptist Church in Harlem, and they have a lot of seniors there who are in their 70s, 80s, 90s, some people even older than that. And every Sunday, I would stick around after church and sit with them. Some were in wheelchairs, some would just say, "Like, I'm waiting on my van to pick me up." And one day, one of the ladies said to me, "Charles, why do you sit around with us old people talking about talking to us and having conversations with us?" I said, "I hate to tell you this, but I'm actually stealing from you guys. I'm actually stealing wisdom from you guys. See, I believe wisdom comes over time, but you can borrow wisdom from other people if you just listen to people who've lived their lives a while and who's done things." And so every Sunday, I'm talking to somebody who's older than me, who's lived their lives, who's done things. Even if they're not in the same business or the same career I'm in, they can give you knowledge about how to navigate life. And that's what's happened to me throughout my entire journey. I've always sat down with people older than me, and I listened and I evaluated what I needed. And then the rest of it, I just left on the table.
You know, I always get, Jermaine, you're such an old soul. You know, a lot of my friends are older than me. And the thing is, I don't know, maybe it's wisdom that I gravitate towards, or I don't know, but it's a comfort place. And you know me, being a publisher, I am intrigued by one story. Everyone has one to share, and everybody, they may not share it. But I just love people's stories, just like you said. But I never thought about looking at it. I'm stealing your story. But I understand now why you made that clear.
Mhm.
So, all right. So
And,
let
and
me.
that's kind of how Black Boy Genius is now developing. It's about
Mhm.
finding people who are in careers or in life. Some people are stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home fathers, but it's the way that they're raising their kids, the way that they're raising the community, the way that they're involved in the community. So I bring these people in and I bring these people together. And if they're a CEO, a president of a company or owner, I tell them, take that hat off. I want you to come in almost like if you're in a t-shirt and some blue jeans and some sneakers, and you coming into an
Yes.
older person talking to a younger person. Now, if you guys get around to saying, okay, I'm this and I built this multi-billion million dollar company, that's fine. But understand something. I can sit here and tell somebody I have 2 Emmys and lifetime achievement awards and all that kind of stuff for my work in the media business. So if I'm talking to a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, that's too big of a span for them to quite understand
Mhm.
that journey. So I have to break it down and say, this didn't come overnight. This came with sacrifices of not hanging out all the time, going on a computer. Well, back in the day, we didn't have those, but doing the work, whether it's picking up a book, picking up a magazine, studying stuff, listening to other people, going to workshop, because you have to put in the work. Faith without works is dead. You can pray overnight that I want to be this, this, and this. But if you don't ever put in the work, it's not going to happen. Those two things go hand in hand. It's literally the perfect mixture of being successful.
Mm. You just said something when you stated it's how you're showing up, especially with these young minds. You don't want to be so intimidated. That's what I'm taking from you. Whereas they can't, you've lost them just entering into the space. And so being able to speak with them where they are, meet them where they're at, to be able to empower and encourage them. I love that. So, I want to ask this question also. For someone that's looking to start in the space of mentorship, how did you even get started in that space from a standpoint you can encourage someone else today?
Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm make a slight correction on the question you're asking. See, what people don't understand, you are a mentor no matter what.
Mm,
Somebody's watching you, whether you're doing good, bad, or just being stagnant. Somebody's watching you, and that's part of the mentorship.
mm,
So, in order to start, you
true.
start with you can start with your family, you can start with your community, or you can start joining an organization and pick out people. There are so many people who are looking for someone to say, John, or if it's a young lady, Mary, that's good. Keep going. What can I do to help you keep going in that direction? Not that you're going to stop and do the work for them, but you're going to be there to say, well, Mary or John, you want to think about something like this. What if you thought about it like this? Then you're teaching each one of them to use their mind to think. How do I critically
Mm,
think about something? Because we could jump up any morning and say, I want to go buy new cars and I want to rent cars out. But what is the plan? What is the future of renting cars? Is there a future in that? Is there a future in X, Y, and Z? So you got to do your homework and you got to make sure that you have some type of plan together. I jokingly tell people that I work with a lot of people who are linear people, A, B, C, D, E, F, G people. I have a good friend. Her name is Renee. She's a very A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Been my partner for years and stuff that we've done. But I am a non-linear person. I may go A, J, N, Z, Y, but we both get the job done. But when I'm
yes.
working with women and men who are linear people, they keep me in line. They go, oh, that's great, Charles, but let's just stay on track. And you need that give and take. You need somebody
Yes.
who's a little loose, who's a little uh, uh, shooting off the hip, but you also need somebody who says, no, we got to stay the course. So I love working with those people. And I jokingly tell people, unfortunately, guys, all of my successes come when I've had female partners in whatever I've done. So I'm looking for that first success because all of my awards, all my accolades have come because I've had female partners. And this is what I tell young men when you're dealing with females, understand they're detailed oriented people. We're sort of sometimes come across this big picture and we don't look at the details. So you always want to have that partner, whether it's a male or a female, but you want somebody who can handle the
Yes.
details at the end of the day.
Absolutely. All right. Well, stand by because we need to get Morning Brew to a place that you can get your accolades for it. Okay.
Okay. You got
Listen, I have another question.
it.
Lonnie says, should a mentor have a religious background or having an understanding of it?
Well, let's do this. Let's not even say have a religious background. I personally believe I think you should have a spiritual background. And what that means, somebody who believes in something bigger than themselves. Because I believe we didn't just pop up on the earth. Even if you believe in the Big Bang Theory, somebody started the Big Bang Theory. So I think you need to have some type of foundation that you call upon or that you can pull together. But mentorship is literally being consistent. If you're mentoring people, you can't be one way on a Monday and a different way on a Wednesday, because
Yeah.
once young people lose the belief in you, it's hard to get it back. But if they know that Mr. Charles or Mr. Williams or whatever they call me knows that if I call on him, he's going to tell me the truth, whether I want to hear it or not. I have to be consistent. I can't pacify them. I can't try to be their best friend, because if I'm at my age, I don't need to be trying to be a best friend to an 18-year-old or 25-year-old. That is somebody I'm mentoring. His friends are his age. He comes to me for real advice in
Yes.
terms of Blackboard Genius. That's what I want people to understand. Sometimes we try to be friends with these people that we're mentoring, and it's harder to be mentor somebody who's your friend, because now you don't want to tell them the harsh truth that the friends you're hanging around, you're going to become them if you don't change. Those are harsh realities you have to tell people. You can't go out and buy flashy stuff and you don't have anything else going on, because you try to look the part opposed to being the part. And those are the things that we really need to impart to our young people, because before you know it, you'll go from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50. Then what do you have? So you have to start planning out a future. And not only that, try to find people who are aligned with you that you can grow together with. Because I'm personally, I know there are people who like doing stuff alone and growing alone, but I'm personally I'm one of those people who believes in finding my tribe and people
Yes.
who are aligned with me, and we grow together, because I can bounce stuff off of all of them, and they can say to me, you know, Charles, if you think about it this way, we could do it this way. And I go, never thought about it that way, because we all are coming from different backgrounds.
Absolutely. I want to say this as we come to a close, because I know you have another engagement. Um, and so I want to ask you, you've had a powerful career in media, shaping stories on the screen. How do you want your legacy to reflect your commitment to mentorship off screen?
I think it's simple for me. He was a giver. He thought about other people, and he's learning how to think about himself. Because what I'm learning through other mentors, you cannot give all of your gas away and be stranded on the side of the highway. Yes, you've helped a lot of people, you've done this, but you always have to save gas for yourself. You cannot run out of gas by helping the world, saving the world. You have to have a balance in life about everything, because that's part of teaching young people to mentor. Take care. What do they tell you in an airplane when that oxygen mask drops down? Put it on you first,
You
even if it's
first.
your child sitting next to you, because if you run out of air, you cannot save your child. But if you're a little healthy with the oxygen, you can then turn around and help your child. So those are the things that we have to realize. You have to take care of your health mentally, physically, and socially. All of those things go hand in hand. And if you want to throw the spiritual part in there, you have to add that spiritual part also. So you really, really want to do that. And so you're taking that whole thing and moving it over. I have a lot of young people that come to me, call me up at different times, and sometimes, you know, parents will go, well, why is he or she talking to you? I said, because you are the disciplinarian. So they want to go, let me go talk to somebody who can talk to me a little different. But they realize I'm telling them the same thing their parents or their other people in their lives are telling
Exactly.
them, because we're all consistent. We're not trying to pacify them. I'm not trying to be Chris or John or Bob's friend. I'm telling them, hey, look, dude, I was 15. So you're
Yes.
talking to the wrong person. I was your age at one time, and I thought I had all the answers. I just remember a crazy story, and I tell people this all the time. I used to work in another city with people who grew up in New York City. I would debate them about New York City for hours and hadn't ever been to New York City. I only saw what saw on television. So when I got here, I went like, how unsmart was that? I even called them up and said, why would you guys allow me to debate you? You guys should have just shut me down and said, when you go to New York, you come back and debate me, you know? But I was 20 years old, thought I was hot shot. I got
Thought
out of
you knew
college
everything.
and I thought I knew everything. And this is the thing I will tell young people all the time, and I tell them this. Up until you're about 30, when that frontal lobe develops, you get to be 30, you realize how smart your parents and the people around you who are older, they're trying to guide you in a way that's going to help you be successful. That's what I tell them all the time.
Absolutely. Well, I know my time is running out, but I do want to share in this moment. This is our final sip moment where we start bringing things to a close. So I want to ask you this to leave with our audience with one final sip of wisdom about mentorship, identity, or legacy. What would it be?
Well, I'll tell you this. The reason why the clothing line, and you can get the clothing line at bbg7.store. The reason why I did clothes is because what I wanted is people to wear that symbol out and about, where it says Black Boy Genius. And we did something for the young women where we have Be Genius. And it's not just about the clothes, but if you start thinking about yourself as a genius, which you've always been, because of the things that we've gone through in society and life and around the world, we've always been that person who can take nothing and make something out of it. And so if I leave the audience with nothing else, don't ever listen to someone who tells you your dream is stupid.
Mm,
Sometimes that is your test to see if you are serious or not about what you're doing. Whether you're writing a book, you're doing a event program, you're doing a new invention, you're doing a new technology, you're doing AI. If that's what your belief is, surround yourself with the right people who understand where you're going. But sometimes the people closest to you are the people who will say, I don't know, that may not work. Maybe Terry Crews, actually, in an interview I did for Journey to Man, and he said before he started his football career, and coming from a poor family, he was just saying he talked to people about playing professional football, and he was saying people told him, maybe, almost, you probably could make it, but I would rely on something else. You're probably not going to make it. But he made it to the NFL and became a star football player. And now everybody knows him on the shows that he's hosting now. Because sometimes you have to believe in yourself
yes.
before anybody else believes in you. And if you show consistency, the universe will send people in your space.
Ooh,
Have you ever
yes.
prayed for something, or have you ever asked for something and all of a sudden people start showing up? You say, where did you come from?
Yes.
That's life. That's how life works. We pull that energy into our spaces. Now, the crazy thing about this, if we can pull positive energy in and we can pull negative energy in.
That's right.
Because if we're always saying negative things, I can't, I won't, maybe I can't do it, guess what's going to start coming into your space?
It's going
Those
to show
those
up.
naysayers are going to show up and say, oh, Germaine, don't start that show. So and so, don't start that. Don't do this.
Do it.
Don't do that. And what's going to happen over time? You will start believing that you can't do anything. But if you got people feeding into you every day, you can do this. Guess what? You may not have a dime to your name, but you feel like the king or queen of the world.
That's right. I tell you, people don't realize the power in the tongue and the law of attraction. What
Yes.
you put out is what's going to come back to you. So it's like shift that mindset, start thinking differently, start seeing yourself differently. That was about my coffee brew yesterday. So you
Perfect.
just have to go back and check out Morning Brew from yesterday.
Perfect.
Charles, I just want to tell you, thank you so much. You know, you are so full of wisdom. I always love having conversations with you. And clearly others do too. So we have to get you on Mixed Brew a lot more than one
Well,
off, right?
I would love to be on more, but I want to stop and give you a few flowers. I
Oh my.
remember you, like you said, you and I've known each other for a long, long,
Yeah.
long time. But I remember when I first told you you should do a podcast. And you were nervous. You was, oh, my voice is not right. This is not right. It took a few years for you to find your sea legs,
Yeah.
but you made a commitment about 90 days, about 90 days ago, actually 3 months ago. And you said, I'm going to do this every single day, no
Yeah.
matter what. And you've been on every single day. Now you've expanded it to weekends. Look how quickly you can grow in 90 days. This is what I tell
Exactly.
people all the time. Just start. Don't wait. Don't wait on anybody to tell you what to do. People can give you all the advice in the world. They can tell you to do this. Don't eat this. Don't do this. Don't blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is. But until you decide that you're
That's
going to
right.
do it and be consistent, even when everybody else said, girl, come on, let's go hang out. Oh, God. No, I got a show to do. Well, your mom's sick. Okay, I'm going to take care of my mother, but my mother's okay. I'm going to do my show. You have to be consistent because as they told us back in the day when we were in college and we were taking performance classes to learn how to talk on the radio or something, that professor told us, C. Lee Turner told us, if you decide to go on a stage and perform a monologue, a speech, or whatever, the people who came to see you, who paid their money, they don't know that somebody shot up your whole family. They don't know that somebody robbed your house and you're in a bad mood. You cannot rob them of their experience just because you had a bad experience.
That's
Either
right.
you decide you're going to go on the stage or you're not going to go on the stage, and you
That's
let
right.
somebody else stand in for you. So those things we have to remember. Everybody's not thinking like you. I used to have that bad. Well, why don't people just do it like me? No, they have a different perspective. They have a different background. They're coming from a different space and time. So sometimes talking to people is better than just assuming that they should know.
That's true. And I appreciate you so much because you've seen the start and stop, the inconsistency, and one day and you saw the fighting from coming from behind to the forefront. And one day it was like, you know what, God, I'm gonna be obedient and I'm gonna just take the first step. And Charles, like I say to you, and I share with others, even on Morning Brew, I am so excited because if no one shows up, it's for me. And it has been such a blessing for me just having these coffee breaks, these brew
And
topics.
that's why we're going to buy many, many cups of coffee on
Yeah.
your platform. So
Oh,
anybody out there that's watching this, that's hearing this, I want you guys to go and buy many cups of coffee. We have to support people who are doing positive stuff. Go and buy a cup of coffee, 1 cup of coffee, 3 cups of coffee. If you know you think drink 3 cups of coffees a day, just go on in and support this platform, because I think she's doing a great thing to empower, enlighten, and uplift not only herself, her family, her community. So I'll end there, and I'll say thank you guys for having me on Morning Brew with Germaine. And I look forward to coming on more often.
Charles, thank you so much. And you know what? For as little as $1, that's it, right? A
Yep.
dollar a day, right? But listen, thank you so much. Thank you. Anytime. We'll catch up later on, but be safe in your travels, okay? I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye bye now. Guys, thank you so much. I see we have some new people chiming in also. We have RD McCoy 33. Thank you so much for chiming in over on Instagram. And Linda Stallworth. Linda, thank you so much for chiming in. One of my first authors when I started, who was a referral from Charles. So it's been over 17 years that we started Hope of Vision Publishing. Thank you so much for chiming in. And Jess, Charles, I'm gonna put this up, Leslie. Charles dropping bombs. Absolutely. Guys, I love you all so much. And thank you for supporting. And for those that have been wondering, how can we support? You know, it's a lot. It's not easy putting shows together. But like I said, I do this starting with me as first partaker. And I'm so glad that it resonates with others. So we got a lot of exciting things coming up. We have Authors Brew Friday. This Friday, I have a new author in studio this Friday from Michigan. Yes, she's a best-selling author through HOV Publishing. She's launching her next book, which comes out Friday. So that's Rita Carter for Breaking Through. She will be here on Friday. Please make sure you stop by, give her some encouragement. She has a major event going on Saturday. And then also, yeah, just continue to stop by for coffee breaks. Also, thank you, Pamela Johnson, 3755, who's joined. Thank you so much for chiming in. I love you all so much, more than you will ever realize. And then just for even being strength for me, you have no idea, but it is so necessary. And if you decide you want to buy some coffee for others, then you know what? Hey, support and make the contribution as little as $1. That's it. But it's on you. Thank you again. We will be back again tomorrow with another Morning Brew with Germaine and a new brew topic. I'll see you tomorrow. Be safe in your travels today. And you know what? You know how we do? We sip slow and we take a pause to pour in a purpose. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, wait a minute before we go. Hold on. Let me see, Linda. Charles, you should definitely consider becoming a motivational speaker. Our young men can really use this type of motivation. Ditto to that. And on that note, thank you so much, Linda. We're out. Have a great day. Bye.